Now on Fios 1 News, it's sentencing day for former Governor Chris Christie aide Bill Baroni for his role in the Bridgegate scandal. He decided to accept his fate instead of taking his case to a higher court. 3 Long Branch officers are recovering after crashing, chasing drug suspects. The suspects got away. And the verdict for the murder of Sarah Stern could come at any minute now. It's day 2 of jury deliberations after almost ending in a mistrial yesterday. The news starts right now.
Fios 1 News, Daytime Edition.
Good afternoon, I'm Brian Webb. Thank you for watching today. We're going to have your top stories in a moment. First, we want to check the forecast on another cold day. Here's meteorologist Brittany Bohr. Hi, Brittany.
Brian, looking at that satellite radar, it's painting a very quiet picture for the Garden State. Lots of sunshine with those high-level passing clouds, so looking at a pretty good day. Those winds also calming down significantly from where we were seeing it this time yesterday. Those wind speeds anywhere from about 10 to 20 miles per hour. Gusting slightly higher than that at times, but we will be seeing that calming trend throughout the rest of the afternoon. Those temperatures in the upper 20s and the low to mid 30s the further south you get, but when you factor in those winds, it's still only feeling like the 20s for everybody. So you want to make sure that you are wearing your coats and dressing appropriately for these conditions because that air still does have a bite to it. Those temperatures topping out near that 40-degree mark by about 3 o'clock. Stay tuned. I will have a full look at the forecast coming up soon.
Breaking news, a man will get close to life in prison for sexually assaulting and killing an 11-year-old girl in Kingsburg. Andreas Arazo admitted killing Abby Smith in court this morning. Prosecutors say her family agreed to the plea agreement. Smith went missing in July of 2017. Her body was eventually found near the apartment building where she and Arazo lived. He will now serve about 63 years behind bars before being eligible for parole. The official sentencing will happen on May 31st. 3 Long Branch police officers are recovering after an accident chasing drug suspects. A viewer shared these photos from the scene. The police chief tells us 2 detectives were treated and released from the hospital. A 3rd officer is having some tests done first. The chief says the pursuit started during a drug investigation. The suspects abandoned their vehicle after the crash and then fled the scene. They are still at large. More information is expected to be released when the investigation is complete. The first full day of jury deliberations are underway for the trial of the murder of Sarah Stern. On Monday, there was another jury controversy. Apparently, somebody made a comment to the jurors. No word exactly what was said, but the judge had to question them about it before moving forward. 2 jurors have already been dismissed. Liam McTasney is accused of robbing and murdering Stern. Her body was never found. One witness testified that he saw Stern the day after she was supposedly killed. Late yesterday, the jury asked to see 6 exhibits, including McTasney's videotaped confession, as well as body cam footage from his first encounter with police. Keep it here on Fios 1 News for the latest on this trial. We will bring you the verdict as soon as it's handed down. We are learning new disturbing details behind the quadruple murder in Colts Neck last year. A new unsealed indictment reveals the suspect, Paul Canero, had a silencer and night vision scope along with his niece's blood on his clothing. Authorities say he was angry after being cut off by his brother over missing money. Canero is accused of killing his brother, sister-in-law, and their 2 young children on November 20th. Authorities say he then tried to cover his tracks by setting his brother's mansion on fire, then setting his own home on fire with his wife and daughter inside. Canero has pleaded not guilty. He likely will not face trial until sometime next year. A mother and daughter are charged with killing 5 family members, including a woman and her twin daughters from Trenton. The victims were found in an apartment in Morrisville, Pennsylvania, across the Delaware River from Trenton. Shanna Decree and her 19-year-old daughter Dominique were taken to a nearby hospital before being arraigned. They are charged with 5 counts of murder and 1 count of conspiracy. How and why the victims were killed has not been released. Bill Baroni, a former Chris Christie aide and Port Authority official, is being resentenced at this hour. He was part of the Bridgegate scandal 5 years ago. Fios 1's Christy Kalishian is outside the federal courthouse in Newark.
This afternoon, former Governor Chris Christie aide Bill Baroni will be sentenced here at the federal courthouse in Newark, and this all comes 3 years after he was convicted of fraud, conspiracy, and other charges. It was a political scandal that stemmed from a massive traffic jam in 2013 known as Bridgegate. There were two key players in this scandal: Bill Baroni, who was appointed by then-Governor Chris Christie to be the Deputy Executive Director of Port Authority, and Bridget Ann Kelly, Christie's former Chief of Staff. Both were sentenced in 2016 to serve prison time. Last year, a federal appellate court upheld most of their convictions. Baroni agreed to be resentenced back in Newark, but Kelly is planning to appeal to the U.S. Supreme Court. According to published reports, Baroni just wants to move on with his life. He is facing about 2 years behind bars. Again, this sentencing is taking place here at the federal courthouse in Newark, right behind us, and we'll have more later on this afternoon on his court appearance. And we're here in Newark. Christy Kalishian, FiOS 1 News.
The superintendent who admitted going to the bathroom on a school track is back in the news. You may remember Thomas Tramoglini from his mugshot. He is now demanding an investigation into the Homedale Police Department. His attorney claims that state law prohibits police from taking and releasing mugshots of people charged with low-level offenses. Tramoglini resigned as Kenilworth superintendent after admitting he repeatedly used Homedale's track as his personal bathroom. No bail for the man accused of slamming his car into a gas station in Wayne, killing 3 people. Jason Vandery of Glenwood made his first court appearance yesterday. He pleaded not guilty. Prosecutors say that police found 9 bags of heroin and a needle in the 29-year-old's possession after last Tuesday's crash on Route 23. They also say he has a history of driving while high on drugs. A father, son, and gas station attendant were all killed. A pond in Edison, named after the late comedian Lucille Ball, may soon be a thing of the past. The property owners want to fill it with dirt and build new homes over it. But as FiOS 1's Marilyn Buckley reports, some of the neighbors are fighting back to save Lucy's pond.
It's been there as long as I've been here, and we'd like to see it stay.
Paul DeStefano and hundreds of other neighbors fired up after news of the ancient Lucille Ball pond potentially being filled by a housing developer who purchased the property.
The pond's been there for 20,000 years. It predates all of us, so to see more houses be potentially put there and impact the ecological system of the pond and the property itself would be, I think, devastating to the neighborhood and surrounding area.
Joe Radarowski is another neighbor who has advocated to save the pond. He says signs in front of several houses along both Clive Street and Oak Hills Road reading Save the Lucille Ball Pond have been up for months.
We're just rallying support. The Facebook group right now has over 700 members, and every day there's more members being requested to access.
Neighbors believe Lucy's Pond is a true part of Edison's history, and they believe to see it go would truly change this neighborhood. What neighbors really want? The pond to be maintained.
I'm not a big fan of filling in the pond. The pond should actually be dredged because they've let it, silt is filled in and all the reeds. They really need to do a nice cleanup on the property. That would be ideal.
Mayor Jonathan Bush of Metuchen also advocating that the pond should stay.
It's something that we want to preserve both from the perspective of maintaining the character of the neighborhood, but also, and perhaps even more important, making sure that we respect the ecological benefits to the property.
Save the pond.
In Edison, Marilyn Buckley, FiOS 1 News.
President Trump and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un are about to meet for their second summit. They are both now in Hanoi, Vietnam, and expected to have a brief conversation before dinner. The White House says they will meet again on Thursday for more serious discussions. And President Trump now says he's in no rush to meet the ultimate goal of denuclearizing North Korea. Skeptics doubt that North Korea has any intentions of getting rid of its nuclear stockpile. Last year's summit failed to reach any meaningful agreement. New Jersey is getting poor reviews from New Jersey. Coming up, we have results of a new poll on the quality of life in the Garden State. Stay with us.